It's 2:13 a.m. You're awake again. Not from a nightmare, not from a loud noise, but from the same quiet interruption. Your bladder. You shuffle to the bathroom, third time tonight. You try not to turn on the light, don't want to fully wake up. But deep down, you're already tired. Not just from lack of sleep, but from not knowing what else to do. You've tried cutting fluids, limiting salt. Nothing really helps. Maybe the answer isn't less water. Maybe it's the right kind. Most people think avoiding fluids at night will solve the problem, but that can actually make it worse. Why? Because your bladder isn't just a container. It's a muscle, a system of nerves, pressure sensors, and elasticity. And, like any part of the body, when it's undernourished, it becomes reactive, irritated, overactive. The good news? There are drinks, simple, natural, that help calm the bladder, reduce inflammation, and improve sleep without putting your kidneys at risk. Let's walk through 6 options that are as gentle as they are effective. 1. Pear juice. Hydrate. Without irritation, you've been told to drink less at night, and so you obey. But then your mouth feels dry, your throat itches, and your body wakes you up anyway. Here's the irony. Dehydration can also cause urgency. When the bladder senses concentrated urine, it becomes irritated, sending signals to empty, even if it's only half full, especially after 60, when bladder lining thins and its tolerance wears down. That's where pear juice enters gently, not acidic like orange or grapefruit, not spiky like cranberry, just soft, subtle, and naturally balanced. Pear juice contains sorbitol, a gentle sugar alcohol that supports hydration without spiking blood sugar or bladder stress. It also carries flavonoids and vitamin C, which support urinary tract health and reduce low-grade inflammation in the lining. But the key isn't just what you drink, it's when. Try sipping 1/2 cup around 6 p.m. Not too late, not right before bed. Just early enough to hydrate the system, soften the urine's acidity, and give the bladder time to settle. One of my patients told me, "It feels like the first evening drink I'm not afraid of." That matters, because healing isn't just about big changes. Sometimes it's as simple as this: a fruit that doesn't offend, a liquid that doesn't threaten, a ritual that feels safe. If water stings your bladder, if tea keeps you up, try pear juice. Not every night, just some nights. Let your bladder know that hydration doesn't have to come with pain. It can arrive quietly and leave peace in its place. 2. Coconut water. Replenish plus calm. You may know coconut water is trendy. A gym drink, a beach drink, something for the young, the tanned, the athletic. But inside that clear liquid is something older than trend, something your body might actually be missing. It's magnesium, a mineral most of us slowly lose, through age, through stress, through medications. And yet, magnesium is the quiet, calm keeper of the body. It helps regulate blood pressure, soften muscles, and most importantly here, relax the bladder wall. You see, the bladder is not just a bag, it's a muscle lined with nerves. When it's low on magnesium, it clenches, sending urgent messages even when there's barely any fluid inside. That's why you might feel like you have to go, even when you don't. Why sleep is broken by tiny signals that feel like alarms. Coconut water offers a natural answer. It hydrates gently. No caffeine, no acidity. And its magnesium and potassium content help calm the smooth muscle of the urinary tract, from the kidneys to the bladder. You don't need much. Just 1/2 cup in the afternoon, sipped slowly, not at bedtime. Earlier when your system is still in motion. A patient once told me, "It feels like my bladder finally exhaled." That's the goal. Not to flood the body, but to restore the signal system so the body stops crying wolf at 2 a.m. And if you're someone who dreads nighttime urgency, this small drink might just become your quiet companion in calming it all down. 3. Herbal decaf tea. Warmth without stimulation. There's something ancient about holding a warm cup. Before science, before medicine, humans knew this. Warmth soothes. And at night, when the body needs to feel safe to rest, sometimes it's not silence that helps most, but temperature. Gentle, predictable, inviting. Herbal teas carry that warmth without the sting of caffeine or the harsh grip of tannins. Let's start with chamomile. More than a bedtime cliché. It contains apigenin, a natural compound that binds to sleep receptors in the brain, quieting the mind and easing the muscles. Then there's peppermint, cooling but not cold. It calms the digestive system and reduces internal tension that can spill over into the bladder. And finally, corn silk tea, a humble remedy used for centuries to ease urinary irritation. It acts like a balm for the bladder lining, especially when inflammation makes it overly sensitive. But here's the truth most people overlook. It's not just the herb, it's the ritual, the act of choosing rest, of sitting with a cup instead of scrolling, of giving your body something warm so it doesn't cry out for attention in the dark. Prepare it simply. Steep 1 bag, or a teaspoon of loose herb, in hot water for 5 minutes. No sweeteners, no rush. Sip it 1 hour before bed. Not in bed, but at the table, with yourself. As a signal, I'm done now, let the body soften. Some drinks stimulate, others sedate. But herbal tea, it listens. And sometimes, that's all your bladder needs to settle down. 4. Pumpkin seed infusion. Nourish from the root. Not everything that heals needs to taste good. Some things just need to be trusted. Pumpkin seeds have long been known as food, but in many cultures they were also medicine, offered to support the lower body, the bladder, the prostate, the kidneys. Today we understand why. They're rich in phytosterols, plant compounds that help reduce inflammation in the bladder lining and support hormone balance, especially in men experiencing mild prostate enlargement. They also carry zinc, which helps rebuild tissue, regulate urinary flow, and support immune health from the inside out. But what makes them powerful is also what makes them hard to digest, unless you change their form. So we infuse them. 1 tablespoon of crushed pumpkin seeds, soaked overnight in warm water, strained in the morning, drunk slowly in the afternoon, around 4 or 5 p.m. No chewing, no cooking, no struggle. Just a quiet cup that speaks to your bladder like an old friend. Not asking it to do more, but reminding it that it's still capable of calming down. One of my older clients, 74, said, "It doesn't taste like much, but something inside me feels steadier." That's what we're aiming for. Not dramatic change, just steadiness. And here's something many forget. Prostate and bladder tone decline gradually. So healing them requires the same rhythm. Small daily invitations, not force, not speed. This infusion isn't a miracle, it's a signal that the bladder still matters, that nourishment can be subtle, that strength can return, not with noise, but with a cup of water that once held a seed you almost forgot was medicine. 5. Aloe vera juice, cooling from within. There are aches you can name, joint pain, bloating, stiffness, and then there are the quiet burns. A bladder that feels raw, a belly that churns after the smallest sip, an inner lining that whispers, "Please, not that again." That's where aloe vera comes in, not as a trend, but as a cooling companion. Aloe has long been known for soothing the skin, but inside the body, its gel-like essence offers something similar, a calm, mucilaginous texture that coats and comforts irritated linings, especially in the digestive and urinary tract. Studies show that small doses of cold-pressed aloe vera juice can help reduce inflammation in the bladder wall and even support gentle detox pathways through the kidneys. But here's the rule. Less is more. Start with just 2 tablespoons diluted in half a glass of water. No added sugar. No commercial blends with fruit juice or preservatives. Just pure aloe, clean and quiet. Drink it mid-afternoon, not close to bedtime. Your body will take what it needs and thank you with fewer nighttime signals. One client told me, "It feels like I gave my insides a cold cloth to rest on." That image stayed with me, because sometimes we don't need more medicine, just less irritation. If you've tried everything and your bladder still flares at night, this might be the missing layer. Cool, not cold. Healing, not harsh. Let aloe do what it does best. Soothe, without asking anything in return. 6. A surprise, white wine spritzer, occasional. You might not expect this. In fact, it may feel strange to hear a doctor suggest alcohol, especially in a script about healing. But Healing isn't always about extremes. Sometimes it's about balance, about knowing your body and choosing what supports it, not blindly avoiding, but wisely using. That brings us to a curious friend, the white wine spritzer. This isn't about drinking. It's about a nervous system that's been on high alert and a small, measured way to invite it to relax. Specifically, the detrusor muscle in your bladder. That's the muscle that tells you to go, sometimes too early, sometimes without warning, and sometimes it doesn't need to. In very small amounts, a spritzer, 1 part white wine, 3 parts sparkling water, can reduce the overactivity of that muscle without sedating the whole body. It's not a habit, not a nightly ritual, just a tool. For those who metabolize alcohol well, and for those whose systems respond better to gentle softening than to tight restriction. A few sips. Early evening. Not close to bedtime, and always with food. Just enough to shift the signal, not dull it. One woman, 68, told me, "I used to feel ashamed if I touched alcohol. Now, I feel like I'm choosing, not escaping." That distinction matters, because in healing, agency is everything. If you're curious, try it once. If it feels right, you'll know. If not, you've lost nothing. But for some, this simple mix of water, bubbles, and a whisper of wine becomes not indulgence, but ease. And that too can be medicine. You were told to stop drinking after 6 p.m. But the issue may not be quantity, it's compatibility. Bladders over 60 need care, not restriction. These 6 drinks don't just fill your stomach. They fill a gap in your healing. 1 sip at a time, start with just 1 of these drinks tonight. Not all 6, just 1. Then tomorrow, try another. Note how your body responds. Did you wake up less? Did you fall back asleep faster? If so, share it. There's someone else still lying awake at 2 a.m. who doesn't know it could be different. You might be the reason they rest deeper tomorrow.